Glen Powell, the charismatic 37-year-old actor who has been lighting up screens with his boyish charm and undeniable talent, recently pulled back the curtain on one of the most vulnerable moments of his latest project. In the high-octane action thriller The Running Man, a fresh adaptation of Stephen King's gripping 1982 novel, Powell steps into the shoes of a desperate contestant in a dystopian game show where survival is the ultimate prize. This isn't the first time the story has been told. Arnold Schwarzenegger delivered an unforgettable performance in the 1987 version, turning it into a cult classic. But Powell's take, under the visionary direction of British filmmaker Edgar Wright, promises to blend heart-pounding suspense with sharp social commentary on a world where entertainment and execution blur into one. During a lively appearance on the iconic talk show hosted by Graham Norton, Powell dove headfirst into the nitty-gritty of filming a particularly exposing scene that left him feeling anything but heroic. The sequence in question involves Powell's character abseiling down the side of an 8-story building in the dead of night, clad only in minimal clothing and a safety harness that, by his own admission, did more harm than good to his physique. The freezing temperatures added to the ordeal, turning what could have been a straightforward stunt into a test of endurance and humility. As Powell recounted with a mix of laughter and cringe, the harness cinched uncomfortably around his body, distorting everything in ways that no amount of preparation could mitigate. "Believe me, nothing looked good," he quipped to Norton, his easygoing Texas drawl cutting through the studio audience's chuckles. But the real kicker, as Powell revealed, was discovering the behind-the-scenes role dedicated solely to his modesty, or lack thereof. Unbeknownst to him during the grueling night of takes, there was a crew member whose singular job was to prevent his foot from accidentally shattering a nearby window during the descent. Positioned directly below, this individual had an unobstructed, upward view that Powell likened to peering up my skirt all night. The realization hit him only after the fact, prompting a wave of second-hand embarrassment for the poor soul who endured take after take of this unintended spectacle. Powell's storytelling painted a vivid picture of the absurdity of film production. Amid the glamour of Hollywood, moments like these remind everyone involved that vulnerability is part of the job, especially when the script demands physical exposure in service of the story. This candid revelation wasn't the only highlight of Powell's chat. He also shared a starstruck anecdote about receiving unsolicited but invaluable advice from none other than Tom Cruise, the 63-year-old legend whose career is synonymous with death-defying stunts. What Powell anticipated as a quick 10-minute pep talk from the Top Gun icon stretched into an epic 2.5-hour masterclass on survival in the stunt world. Cruise, ever the perfectionist, didn't hold back, offering a comprehensive rundown on how not to die while performing high-risk maneuvers. Powell absorbed it all with wide-eyed reverence, describing the call as a transformative experience that reshaped his approach to the film's demanding action sequences. One piece of feedback that particularly stung and stuck was Cruise's blunt assessment of Powell's running form. The Mission Impossible star suggested he film himself sprinting to get a reality check, delivering the tough love with Cruise's trademark intensity. "You don't look as cool as you think you do." Powell had to concede the point, admitting with a sheepish grin that Cruise was so right. This exchange underscores the mentorship dynamic that permeates Hollywood's action genre, where veterans like Cruise pass down hard-won wisdom to rising stars like Powell. It's a reminder that even at the peak of physical prowess, self-awareness is key, and a little ego check can elevate a performance from good to legendary. The Running Man itself is a project steeped in ambition, reimagining King's tale of a totalitarian society where the poor are pitted against professional hunters in a televised bloodsport. Wright, known for his kinetic style in films like Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, brings a modern edge to the narrative, updating the setting from Schwarzenegger's near-future America, curiously pegged between 2017 and 2019, to a more prescient dystopia that echoes today's media-saturated reality. Powell's character, Ben Richards, is no mere muscle-bound archetype. He's a man driven by desperation to save his loved ones, injecting emotional depth into the adrenaline-fueled chaos. The ensemble cast, including buzzy talents alongside Powell, promises to deliver layered performances that honor the source material while pushing boundaries. Before diving into production, Powell made a point of reaching out to Schwarzenegger himself, wary of stepping on the toes of such an enduring legacy. The 77-year-old action icon, now selective with his projects, responded with warmth and generosity, granting his full blessing without hesitation. In their conversation, Schwarzenegger reflected on his own experiences, admitting that the relentless physicality of pure action films grew taxing over time. "It's a brutal way to go to work," he told Powell, contrasting it fondly with lighter fare like Kindergarten Cop and Twins, where humor allowed for a breather amid the spectacle. This endorsement from Arnie not only eased Powell's concerns but also highlighted the camaraderie among actors who've navigated similar high-stakes remakes. Powell's journey to The Running Man is emblematic of his meteoric rise. From his breakout in Scream Queens to stealing scenes in Top Gun Maverick alongside Cruise, ironically the same mentor who later schooled him on running, Powell has cultivated a reputation for blending charisma with grit. His rom-com turn in Anyone But You opposite Sydney Sweeney showcased his comedic timing, but it's in action territory where he truly thrives, channeling that all-American energy into roles that demand both vulnerability and valor. The half-naked abseil scene, awkward as it was, serves as a microcosm of this evolution, stripping away the polish to reveal the raw humanity beneath, much like his character's arc in the film. Wright's vision for the remake emphasizes not just the thrills but the satire, critiquing how entertainment exploits suffering in an unequal world. Powell has spoken at length about how this resonated with him, drawing parallels to contemporary issues like reality TV's voyeurism and the gamification of justice. Filming in those bone-chilling conditions wasn't just about endurance, it was about embodying the desperation that fuels Richard's rebellion. The stunt coordinator, drawing from Cruise's playbook, ensured safety protocols were ironclad, but Powell's commitment, repeating the descent until it felt visceral, earned raves from the crew.